Yeah, yeah. Shout out to DJ Shame for that amazing mix. What a way to bring in the new month. Yo, shout out to everyone. I'm, praying for. There's lots of smoke everywhere. Just praying for Quebec and all the fires and all the stuff that's been going on and everyone dealing with this. Just send them my love out. And that's what Make a Park's about. That's what Type 88's all about. And the guest right here, this guy's just spreading love all over. He's been grinding. And from what I see from his storyline, he started grinding very, very early. So I just want to welcome my boy to the Type 88 show. What's up, my brother?
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here, bro. Welcome.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So maybe you could kind of tell us what was like the first stomping grounds for you.
Well, I grew up in Staten Island, so from here. So it's great to be doing the show here in my hometown. But really basically started with my father. Like, I can't even mention the word art without the thought of my dad. He's what got me into it. He's what was my biggest inspiration. Just being around art all day long was just kind of the most inspiring thing for me. So it was easy for me to pick up a paintbrush and just do it myself when the time came. So it's been a part of my life always. But I didn't really get started on it seriously until like 5 years ago, when I actually just put it all out and resigned from my job and really just got serious with the art.
That's amazing. So when you said your dad introduced you, what was the introduction like? You just seeing him making stuff, or he?
Yeah. Well, he came to this country at 18 from Venezuela. Met my mother, went to NYU, studying art. And then by the time I was born, they were married in Staten Island. And he worked in NYU. So he ended up working there. And just every weekend, all his free time was just spent doing art. Like, he would literally come home with a tree branch, and I would look at him like, Dad, what the hell are you doing with a tree branch? And he would make the Virgin Mary out of it, or metal pieces with Jesus welded together. Like, just insane stuff that I've seen. Wow. Statues in our house, and I know my wife since 4 years old, so she kind of seen it as well, like just coming to my house all the time. So it's just been crazy. Everybody who knows us, knows my family, just is very familiar with my father's art, and he's never showed it or displayed it or sold it. It's just personal for him. So, my house was like a museum growing up. It really was. So it's cool.
That's amazing, because now, right, from what it seems like, everyone I know is an artist in one way or another.
Absolutely.
So that was just a different time where just putting something out in the world was maybe just making it in your backyard, and
absolutely.
just it ended there almost. But
there's no way to show it.
Yeah.
You don't have social media. You don't have any of the stuff you have now. So, and he still doesn't. He's 72 years old, still creating art, but still doesn't show it either. So he just got comfortable doing it for that length of time. But
yeah. That's a blessing, because to be able to just make stuff with no pressure.
Yeah.
To have to try to sell it, or to have to get it somewhere, so I'm sure there's a piece in that.
Oh,
or
absolutely.
just he's making it, and it's
absolutely. I would love to know his why, the why of why you never, so I'm basically doing everything he's never done.
Yeah.
So he's sitting back, and he's at times probably fearful of what I'm getting myself into in the art world, but he doesn't know the business side of things.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to get an art coach. I had to get comfortable with that space, just to be able to call myself an artist in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was scared to be around people who have these art degrees and, art historians, and I didn't want to be called out by these people, so I was almost afraid to create great art, if that makes sense, because I didn't want to be like, where'd this come from? Where'd this guy come from? But then an art coach made me very comfortable in saying, just, you do know this stuff naturally. You grew up with it. It was on your walls, and you do know what form is and composition and value. You do know what they are, but you just don't know the technical terms as somebody who studied art. But, you could say you're an artist. Like, it's, it just gave me that comfort that I never had growing up, I guess. Like, there was no, the thought of being an artist, didn't exist. It was just like, I can do art, but I wasn't comfortable calling myself an artist,
No, I like that, because no offense to anyone, or however much they do something or choose to do it, a lot of my people do stuff as a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think from what I'm hearing, it's like you wanted to be almost get your credentials.
Yeah,
you wanted to know your history. You wanted to know your terms. You wanted to know.
Exactly.
You wanted to make sure you had your skill set before you jumped in the octagon.
Exactly.
With these heavy hitters, and because from what I see, what you're doing, you're all over. You're doing your thing all over the place.
A lot's happened in the last year. It was like 4 years of just grinding to even get to that point.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually turning shows down. Turning commissions down. Commissions rarely ever work out because it's, I need my own freedom to do it.
Yeah.
4 years ago, somebody asked me to do something with a blue and red sky, no problem, because it's, it's what you want. I can't do that anymore. I became a different artist where I have to kind of really show people what, is in my mind now and achieve a new level.
Now that's cool that my friend Poet Gold says when you say no, it means new opportunity. You're setting yourself up for a new opportunity by saying no to something because you know where you want to go or the method. So that's cool that you're able to say no because you have your path you're carving your path.
Exactly.
And, shout out, I know so many artists that no one even knows that they're creating that stuff. They're like white label or they're working for a bigger name, or like ghost writing.
Yeah. It's a to achieve that level of vulnerability when you put yourself out there, it's scary. It's really scary to be judged and to be, I think I'm at that point where I don't care anymore. Like, you're not making the art for those people anymore.
Yeah.
Everything as an artist, any form of art, you're making the art for yourself. You know what I mean? The people are just there to enjoy it. But, I mean, you have to just do it for you.
Yeah.
Because the minute you start making it for other people, it's not going to turn out the way you want. So
that's real. And that's dope. You got to see that firsthand with your pops.
Absolutely.
Who, we know in the business, doing things for business and making a living off what you love is a whole other blessing. But to see it in such an organic way, of just like, I'm going to just paint all day or I'm going to paint on my off time. And
I didn't think of it like that. I never really thought of it as this is what's going to be the result of it. Like that, this is everything I'm watching my father do, or, I'm going to one day do this on a higher scale. That never occurred to me like that was possible. Yeah. And that's the thing. When I went to college in CSI, I took an undergrad class and intro to oil painting. And it was the one medium my father never did. He did watercolor, he did acrylic, he did wood, sculptures. And the one thing he never did was oil painting. So I took an intro to oil painting class just to kind of get something my father never did, something he could never teach me. And maybe I could teach him something. Maybe I can impress him. That was what was going through my head. So that was kind of like, and I needed it for an elective. So I kind of just took it, fell in love with the paint, the medium right away because of the texture. You're able to change things. And, the first time I picked up a paintbrush, did it. I remember my first painting was a skull on top of a pillow with a rose. It's a still life. And you're basically, it's not what I want to paint, but I added my own, personality into it, my own, little way into it. And the kid next to me wanted to buy it. And right there, I knew there's something going on. He wanted to buy it for his mother because Christmas is coming up. And this is a required project for class. Like, you can take it. Like, I don't need it. And then I was just making another one. Someone wanted that one. And it was like a quilt. And it was this colorful quilt. And, and my teacher at the end of the semester gave me a B because she thought I was taking a class to get an easy A. So, like, she didn't even believe me that I never painted. So instead of getting mad about that or getting the administrative staff involved, to get back at her, I took it at intermediate and I took her again in advance. And now you have to give me an A. So it kind of just started there. But, I bought all these, like, she wanted us to use, like, very limited palette, 3 or 4 colors. But I just went all out. I was like that kid that got onto the basketball court, never played before with the new Jordans. And, I wanted the best paintbrushes, the best paint. I didn't even know what I was doing, how to even use the tool at the time. But it worked out, So.
That's amazing, man. It's just cool to hear all that. Maybe you could talk about, you get into the professional art world, anywhere you go, if it's the music industry, the hip hop, whatever, there's all this, there's favorites and least favorites of it. Maybe Absolutely. You could talk about something that you really like, something that's your favorite about the professional art world, and maybe something that's maybe not your
I mean, definitely my favorite is connecting with people. Just the people I've met in the last year alone have been an amazing group of artists that I met. A lot of them became really good friends, outside of the art world. So it's been an amazing journey to kind of meet other artists and I guess to talk to people in a gallery where you're not seeing it on Instagram in a little square. You actually get to see my art in person, and I'm giving you a deeper meaning than a caption that no one's gonna read anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's definitely my favorite part of connecting with it. And it's like a catch-22 because my least favorite part is probably the social media part of it. Yeah. Because it's kind of, you have to constantly, if you don't do it, you're gonna fall behind, and
yeah,
no one's gonna see your stuff, and it looks like you're not doing anything. So I think that's I'm getting more comfortable with that now, where I'm not really putting so much thought into it. It's just natural. Yeah. Now, but in the beginning was kind of like, what should my captions say? I'm asking my daughters my teenage daughters to give me some advice, and but now I'm who I appeal to is who I appeal to. I'm not looking for a certain audience, or I'm just myself now. So
I always tell my people, I'm like, Nas worried about Illmatic. Right. He didn't worry about talking about what he was gonna do next. Exactly. He just worried about the art. Exactly. And then whatever you post, it's cool, but people are judging the art. They're seeing the work you put in there. Seeing how many, and they're making the judgments from there. Yeah. But the work is speaking for itself, man. You've been grinding. I'm seeing so many awards. Maybe you could talk about a few of. Yeah, I mean, because I keep seeing you put these little sculptures on your mantle like every day.
Yeah, that came from Italy. I did these hand-carved sculptures. I won the Leonardo da Vinci Award, the Michelangelo Award, and the Donatello Award. So I'm hoping it follows like the Ninja Turtle pattern. I get the Raphael next. I don't know if that's one of the next awards coming up, but I really hope it is. So I could, but yeah, I mean, these are like coming from international art galleries and curators and just art collectors from all over the world that have voted me in. So it's just like, I got, I think 9 over the last, 13 months. So, and cool. A few more coming in the next few months that I can't announce yet. So it's just kind of to be in double digits for awards in a year when nothing was happening in the first 4 years. It's been a little crazy, but, getting used to it now. And, I appreciate the awards and I appreciate the recognition, but there's still more work to be done. I don't stop there and just, I put it on my mantle, put it on Instagram, but also that's all for me to know when I got the award too. You know what I mean? I'm not like bragging about the awards. I appreciate it though. But.
Yeah, it's just cool to be people to find out what you're doing and show love, and it's just cool. You're really just continuing to advance, and I love your pursuit of trying to advance when, even just trying to get in the game and being like, I don't even know if I could call myself an artist yet. I want to be skilled up. I want to make sure my sword is sharp.
Exactly. Because I was always drawing and even making comic books in like 5th grade. Went to PS11 and we're sitting there like selling. Me and my best friend selling comic books for 10 cents, and it's a continuous story where we're kind of like, people are what's next? Let me see what's next, and we had this like story going. And so I was always drawing. I was always, all the time. I had a sketchbook going. My brother as well. So I mean, and now he's in art, in the art field as well. He's a graphic designer for Universal Music. So art is definitely, the time my father didn't think he was doing anything by, just making art in front of us, it really paid off a lot and inspired us in ways that he can't even imagine. So it's been great.
Yeah, just think about, you're talking about your pops. I'm thinking about mine, and he didn't really sit me down and was like, think this way. Right. Work this way. Work hard. Mm-hmm. I would just see him work hard. Exactly. And it was just the example that he set for me. Set me up. Right. Because, we remember, of course, stuff. I remember stuff my dad says. It stuck with me for a long time. But then him setting that example was just huge for me. Just because it was the only person I saw waking up at 4, coming home, making a few reads after teaching all day, and then going to Broadway. Yeah. Wow. In between a meal and coming home at 11 and waking up to teach the next day. Wow. you know, and then doing it all over, like a few Broadway shows a week.
And as a child, you probably didn't understand the grind back then, like you didn't understand.
Yeah.
It wasn't until you're older you kind of clicked, like, wow.
Yeah, so for me, I see it in my siblings. It's just putting your head down and getting your hands dirty, just really going for it and working hard, and there's days I'm like, I learned from my dad, but he never sat me down. I was like, David, you have to work hard. Yeah. You have to wake up early and do it. Like, no,
I don't think I got that either.
Yeah, you just saw the example.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. Now it's like these kids need validation, and it didn't exist back then. It was kind of like, just do it.
So yo, I'm seeing such a variety of your pieces. For anyone who's on the listening side, where could even people find you? Like, and they could kind of look at stuff as we go, as we're talking right now.
Yeah, I have my website. It's erickmotaart.com, and it's ERICK. A lot of people spell my name wrong, but it's with a C and a K. And then I also have my stuff on Instagram. I have my OpenSea account on there as well, where I animate all my paintings. So that's another thing. I'm getting into the NFT game as well.
Nice.
Where instead of just like a JPEG that I'm offering people, I want them to actually see my paintings come to life. And, like the Wu-Tang piece that I did, you actually see them in motion and kind of like, on stage. And, I want to give people more value to it. But as an artist, I think NFTs is something you can't ignore either.
Of course,
because of the royalty aspect of it. But if I did it, I have to do it my way, which that with animation. So I have an OpenSea as well. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, all under the same name, Erick Mota Art.
Yeah. So as you're vibing to this interview, pull up these pieces because you could really get a. And I'm saying check them out online, but there's nothing like live. And my guys, you seem to be doing shows pretty often.
Yeah. Usually it's a couple of months at least. It's been like that trend.
Yeah.
Definitely got to slow down though, because I'm trying to finish my PhD. It's definitely.
That's crazy that you're doing that as well.
I mean,
like
that's kind of
just my PhD,
Yeah, no, I mean I'm on 8th year, so I mean I should have been done years ago, but
that's crazy.
This has been kind of slowing me down, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So even showing my teacher, my chairperson who's in charge of my dissertation, where like the last 4 years, all I had to do is write my dissertation, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm also writing a novel. It's just, I'm all over the place right now, so it's kind of I'll get there eventually. This summer I'll finish my PhD.
But you're seeing things through, and these are big things.
Oh, yeah,
right? Dissertation, novel, these are
mean,
long.
That's always inspired me too, because like 1% of people that start a novel finish. So I mean, I always had that number in my head of like I'm gonna be, in that 1% of people that do finish. And I want it to be so good that people, like my wife doesn't even know the name of it. My kid, no one knows the name of it. No one knows what it's about. And I've been working on it for over 10 years. So I'm just going to come out with it and kind of like hit people with it. Like just, like where this guy come from, in the writing world, because I'm already doing that in the art world. But I definitely want to do that in writing. So it has to, in that perfectionist type of way, it has to be something that's, quality. And so I'm hoping to have it ready this year. I think I'm almost wrapped it up. So
that's great.
So this year should just be a lot of stuff happening all at once. So
2023, let's do this.
Exactly.
So I see so many different styles when I'm looking at your stuff, but maybe you could talk about some your biggest artistic influences.
So it's definitely my father, like I said before. But it's psychology as well, because I mean, even being in college this long and studying psychology as my major, you know all the theories, all the, you brush over every aspect of psychology, so it just becomes a part of you. And I've always been interested in the power of emotion and what art can do to people. Like any form of art, whether you hear music and it gives you goosebumps, or like the same thing. It's never going to be a universal favorite song that everyone's going to have, or a universal favorite artist. It's going to be how we interpret it. So that's always been interesting to me. So it's always been something I wanted to kind of journey into in the where I really get real with, not just, it took like working with an art coach, an art consultant recently that said like you got to leave all the Deadpool paintings behind and all the superhero stuff and just get real with your psychology, like your psychological paintings. That's what defines you.
Yeah.
And I took that to a point because when I do the Wu-Tang one, I mean, that same person that told me that probably doesn't want me to do my interests, like because you want me to focus more on psychological stuff. But but if I'm doing that Wu-Tang painting I did, it's a moment in time. It's them in a concert, or the Alicia Keys one I did. It's her playing the two pianos at the Grammy. So it's an actual moment, but it's not just anybody. Like I'm not gonna just paint any rapper that's the hottest thing out right now. Like these are people who inspired me, or they're my favorite. Like they're just so like I want to do a tribute to them. Working on a Michael Jackson one now, a Tupac one. So you see those. But I mean, I'm still my niche is probably the psychological paintings and doing stuff like that. But maybe less landscapes or leaving those are my earlier works.
And as seasons change, we change, right? And we grow, and our interests grow, or we get these new discoveries. So it's cool to see that in your work, and then you'd be like, oh, well, that was a few seasons ago. But it's like, yeah, you're inspired by new things now, or you're tapping into new skills. So, because I know you did that piece, Brain versus Heart.
Yeah.
Which, would that fall under psychology?
Psychology. I mean, everybody, like, it's funny is that galleries is like people that just look at me and like, you're in psychology, right? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I knew you had to do. Like, somebody that's in psychology would only think of this.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's something I thought about for a really long time, about like a brain fighting a heart. But like there's been a quote, I guess, by Tupac that I live my life by, and it talking about like evolving. It's you either evolve or you disappear. And when he said that, I was like, wow, that relates to anything in life, like anything, like whether you're an artist, whether you're anything, whatever you are, if you don't evolve and challenge yourself to grow, I mean, you're gonna fall behind. There's other people that are gonna pass you by. So I mean, just in any aspect I do, whatever I'm doing in life, I just go full force at it, and it's no such thing as failure. So I don't go in with that mindset that I'm gonna fail, or all these people now are seeing me blowing up in a sense in the art world, but I always knew I was gonna be here. Like I always, once I picked up that paintbrush, I knew someday it's gonna be like this. So I mean, I'm not surprised by the awards, or I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I'm not like surprised by any of this stuff, because it's like this is the way I do things. Like
you aim for a high level for what you're going for, and you train and you work with masters to get to, because you've pursued. But I love that. I love you either evolve or you disappear, because things are going to change. Technology, the world, and I think just us, we're either growing or dying, right? And for me, it's all I want to learn and grow all the time.
Exactly.
I want to learn and grow all the time, and so that Brain versus Heart.
Oh yeah.
You're working on. Are you working on like different versions? Because I feel like that seems like just a spark of new.
That definitely caught a lot of attention. Won an award for that one. It gained a whole new audience when I did that one. Because it just kind of was like, there's boxing fans that see the hidden element where that's like Tyson shorts as on the heart, and then there's Muhammad Ali shorts on the brain, and that's really how they fought. It has that hidden aspect. But when I first started that, I originally had the crowd in it. I had advertisements. I had a full boxing scene. It had MJ McGrath on it. But then I realized, like, if it's an internal battle, there's none of that. It's your own head. So people ask me all the time with that painting, like, who wins? And I tell them it's your battle. Like,
it's your battle.
I don't know. I can tell you, like, with me, but it's gonna sway. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's brain.
Yeah, it
should never be the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes
it could be a draw.
Do things with your heart, sometimes you do things with your brain.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be a series. So right now I'm working on round 2.
Okay.
Where they're actually UFC fighters. So they're gonna be, in an octagon this time. And then round 3 they're gonna be playing tennis. But it's always before the match, before the battle. So it's always gonna be no winner. A very neutral. So it gives people that something to think about.
I think that's my favorite thing about art is you're gonna see it based on your lens. I'm gonna see it. you know, you're gonna hear this album and it's gonna hit you different than me. We have different upbringings and lives and flavors that we appreciate and things we don't like, and I think that's so cool about art. I just love the conversation. I love just talking about, like, after over almost any show when I'm talking to my lady, I'm like, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
And it's going to be different than yours.
Yeah.
It's
And
always going to be a different opinion.
Yeah, I love just hearing people like, what are your thoughts on the Jack Harlow album? What's your thoughts on the Wu-Tang?
You always do that. I like to respond to your, your thought of the day.
Yeah.
It makes you think a little bit.
Because I want to learn from you. I want to even hear your take, because I'm trying to literally learn from everyone.
I forgot what it was. It's like an album I broke down for you. I don't even remember what it was. It's like, I don't remember what it was. I think it was a Wu-Tang album or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, it's important, and I love people's take, and we all just have stories that matter so much to us. So you're going to hear something. I just want to know why or where it came from. And I don't even care if it's a book report. You've given me some book reports too, which I love. You're like, yo, bro, get ready.
Yeah.
I got some.
Yeah.
But that's real, man. So it's crazy because your pursuit of just growth and excellence. I'm even seeing, like, you ran high school track.
Mm-hmm.
But you were a star.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you excelled.
Yeah, I mean, I was sophomore year. I was this 100-meter track star. I probably could have been in the Olympics if I trained, actually, because
That's
naturally
amazing.
was fast. And I had detention every day because I went to a Catholic school. And
That's amazing.
I think I had, when I was important track meets, they just tell me to show up in Brooklyn. I'd win a gold medal, and I'd give it away to people because it was like effort, like, no effort at all to win a gold medal. So it was almost like I didn't even care about it. Like, my heart wasn't even in it. It was just kind of like,
wow.
Let me run real fast and win a gold medal and just give it to somebody who
And we got kids like going so hard. No, but it's interesting. But you seem to be in tune with the process and in tune with the science of things and the psychology of things. So, to be tapped in your mind at an early age, I think that, or just at any age, is special.
It is.
Because you talked about boxing. You could be fighting with your heart, but if your mind is not involved, you're in trouble.
You're in real big trouble.
You're in trouble. So
that painting has so many different meanings to so many different people, and I think just when I come out with a series about it, it's gonna really make more sense as people see them develop, and kind of it's people will kind of internalize that as their own battle rather than I still get that question all the time, who wins, and I get DMs about that one, who wins. It's the same, I give them the same response. It's your battle. Like, I can't fight your battle for you.
Uh-huh.
It's the reason why I didn't show a winner. It's the reason why I didn't show anyone swinging a punch it. Or
yeah. I love that, man. And you won a spelling bee champ. This guy's been.
Oh yeah, that was my fifth.
This guy's
grade.
all over.
I still brag.
Do you remember the word that?
Kittenish. And
kittenish.
Kittenish. I spelled.
How do you spell that?
With two N's. I spelled it with two N's. It's only one N in it.
So what?
So it's actually like
spell it for us.
KITTENISH. So at 10 years old, I guess I just added the extra N in it, and ruined my shot of now it's on like ESPN. It's a big deal, but back then it was no big deal.
It was like viral. That would have been a TikTok moment.
Yeah, I wish I had that on video. It would have been. So
you're a dad. That's so crazy. Like, you wouldn't be like, oh, this guy's too busy. He can't have kids.
Yeah, no, 3 kids.
Getting a doctorate degree.
Yeah.
Doing all this.
Everything just pretty busy, sometimes you don't realize it until someone else says it, It's just a natural part of me. I don't think of it as being too busy. I kind of try to balance it all. And, sometimes I'm all over the place. When you're writing a book and you're getting a doctorate, you're doing art, a lot of things come cross paths sometimes where.
How do you segment the inspiration? Because you're working on multiple things. Do do multiple things a day? Do you set a set day? Like, this is going to be the novel day. This is going to be the reading day. Like, how do you segment this inspiration?
I mean, I should be more structured in the fact of like, I'm painting from 9 to 5. I'm going to treat it like a job. Life doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Especially in our life. It's just kind of, kids get out at different times, and there's all types of things going on at any given moment. So it's kind of like whenever I can.
Got you.
I'm already, like, what I like to do is when everybody's asleep, my wife's asleep, the kids are asleep, then it's like, all right, now it's my time to kind of like
got you.
Play the music loud, or do what I have to do, and kind of vibe out and just paint without any of that interruption, because I don't want my kids to feel rejected either, that I'm not spending time with them. So it's we made it to a point where like everyone understands, and if I say I need to get something done, my family gives me full support in doing that. So
I love it.
Can't ask for more than that. So.
Yeah, I talk to I have a lot of friends that are parents, and they're just like, well, I do it exactly when I can.
Yeah.
Because you can't just say, 9 to 3, I'm locked in.
Yeah. I mean, there's sometimes when I'm in the zone, and I'm like, I'm up till 11 o'clock in the morning. I didn't sleep, but I need to get this painting done. It's not going to come out the same way if I sleep and go back to it. And, to have a wife that's like, I'm going to take the kids to school, you stay up all night and do it, that you can't ask for more.
Blessing.
That's, but it wasn't always, she didn't always understand in the beginning, but it was also me not, explaining my vision, just expecting her to know it and expecting my family to see it. So there were definitely some challenges.
Oh, yeah.
But it also became part of the journey too.
Yeah.
Those painful moments, you kind of paint about it,
Yeah.
And it does have a meaning, and there's certain paintings I can't get into the meaning behind it, and she respects that, my family respects that, and that's all I could ask for. But I mean, other people have a different view of it, and it's gonna mean something to everybody. So there's gonna be a lot more of those coming, where it's kind of like people are gonna like, what does this mean, and where was his mind when he did this? But it's not necessarily relating to right now. It's just the period of time I went through.
Yeah. And we all have stories, and I think we have stories, but then we hear stories.
Oh yeah.
So we, the inspiration, I think, could really be infinite, because that's why I love this pod. I'm soaking all this up right now. I'm learning from you, and then I gather your stories, and then I could I share your story with someone else. Like, oh my God. Like, if someone's complaining, they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't got the time. I just started school, and be like, well, my boy, he's a doctor, he got kids, he's married, he did this, he's writing, and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? You start sharing other, so the stories are just special. That's
one of the greatest things, about being an artist, is the ability to inspire people. I mean, people have told me, like, you've inspired me to, like, get back into art, or to, to see things different, or even my painting hanging up in someone's house. Like, this motivates me every day to get up, and, to hear that. In the beginning, I didn't know how to take that, but now I'm getting more comfortable. Like, who am I to say what it means, what that piece of art means to somebody, or, like, I'm just creating it, like you're going to see it a different way. And, if you tell me at the end of it inspires you, I mean, that means a lot to me. Like,
that's special, man.
That means more than the sale of the painting. I don't do this for the money. But it also learning that, and my father never did it for the money. So, like, I don't know the money aspect of being an artist, So I had to learn the business side of things, and there's still a lot more to learn. Like, I'm not even a quarter of the way done yet.
Oh yeah. We're on this constant. We're in school. Like, people like, oh, I'm done with school. I'm like, nah, man, you just started. Like, you just finished college. Absolutely. You just started. Yeah, man. You just started school.
Back to get another PhD when I'm done with this. Like,
the amount of lessons that I've learned after school.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when I started going to school. When I had to go out and get it. Yeah, and I was in the real world. I was trying to make sales to people in Connecticut, selling cookware, and they were from Trinidad, and I didn't even know how to communicate with people outside of people I grew up with. Right. And then, you start learning like about foods and people grow up, you know, where people grew up and the heritage of different things. And it's just like, okay, now I'm in school.
Yeah.
Meeting people, talking to them, learning about their lives. Right. And being creative and, you know, spending all my money on a trademark that didn't work out, you know, because the guy got over on me and he was doing whatever, right? And when I'm 20, right, you know, using my last 5 G's on something.
But you learn.
But that's that was like business 101 that you can't even sit in a class and them tell you, you know. So there's that, like, I love how you get very specific with your learning, but then there's the the real world learning where you're showing your stuff, you're out here.
Yeah. I mean, the fear of the unknown can be exciting sometimes. It's not always bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I don't know what's going to happen in 6 months from now. When people ask me, like, you know, your art's taking off, who cares? Like, let the 6 months happen. Yeah. Because I'll be a different person in 6 months. And if we did this interview in 6 months, I'm sure it'd be a much different interview. You know, so, you know, just have fun with it and just enjoy the journey. You know, one thing I'm always thinking about is I'm building a legacy behind this. No one's going to throw out my art. You know, it's kind of going to go from generation to generation. And, you know, in a way, it makes me live forever. Yeah. So, I mean, I just look at it like, if that's what's going to come out of it ultimately, like that's a great thing. Yeah. So, I mean, I could deal with that. So
that's so real, man. That's so real. So you got some things coming up. But I'm just curious, right? Because I know a lot of people that they love doing it so much, they want to do it as a business. So how do you kind of find that happy medium, you know, like find a sustainability? Because you figured that out too. But then, like, where, you know, because I know artists, they kind of put it all in the art. Yeah. And it's like, but no one's buying it. What do I do? You know, where do I go?
Yeah, I mean, I see that a lot at shows I'm at. You know, even at the Art Expo, I was just, you know, that's the Art Expo to me. Like that's a place I tried getting into the last 3 years and got rejected. And I went there as a guest, and to me, this is like the best talent in the world. So when I was part of it this year, I was excited. I don't care if I sold one thing. I don't care. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about that for me. It was like I'm part of this now. Like, you know, it's more like what connections am I gonna build out of this? Who am I gonna meet here? What type of collectors are gonna come see my work? Like, it's a whole different. This is no longer like a little gallery in the city now. This is the Art Expo. So I mean, that was like one of the biggest moments I had, and you know, I'm hearing other artists that are so disappointed, and this sucks. Like, I can't stand being here. I didn't sell anything, and like I just walk away because they're not gonna ruin my, you know, like I'm you know, I didn't go in with that expectation, like to sell and you know, if it happens, great, but you know, so it is. That's the hard part of it. Yeah. But at the same time, I'll never call myself a starving artist because, you know, at the same time, you can do something about it. Like, there's no reason to be starving. Yeah. You know, it may sound, you know, so I don't even want to sell art based on sympathy. And, you know, and I see a lot of artists do that. You know, I'm never going to name names, but, you know, I see a lot of artists that kind of push, they guilt people into buying their stuff at shows. And I really want people to enjoy my work and put it on your wall because you want it. Like, and that creates a sale, not, you know, just buy my work because, you know, I'm a starving artist. Like, I'll never, you know, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah. I agree. I just hope everyone who's creating, you know, they find that peace within them of why they're creating. Exactly. Because, like, for me, it's always like the origin, even though now I have to sell merch, I have to create, and there's incentive to create. Right, but it's still finding those like origin roots and like those childhood feelings of why I even got into the air in the first place. And I feel like if I could tap into that, that's kind of like the little magic of creation for me, because then I make things that connect with people, and then if I could do that, the sales are just it's just a natural thing.
Yeah, it just happens. You know, and that's part of any form of art. You're gonna have that. You know, like you have that challenge of, you know, you put one foot in and kind of like see where it goes. But I think to really do it, you have to really just don't worry about that stuff at the moment. Just get in, never give up, and be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. Is I see a lot of artists that they come out with one painting a year, and that's it. They're done, and the rest of the time, it took them a week to do it. They call themselves an artist. But what are you doing to other? Like I can't do that. Like I'm always, I if I call myself an artist, I have 10 different paintings I'm working on right now. Like there's there's a bunch of work out there right now that I'm working on. There's a bunch of projects I'm working on. Like I don't always put everything on Instagram or talk about what I'm doing, but I'm always got something going on. So it's never a dull day.
That's real. Yeah. I was having a great convo today with someone. We were talking about you could just put in your bio that you're anything.
Exactly.
But what are you doing during the day that meets that criteria, right? And how you were like, am I even an artist? Yeah. I'm going to get coaching. It's like you were like going to karate before you were going out.
Since January, I started taking so actually since December, I started taking a portrait drawing class every Wednesday with a live nude model. And, I met this guy, he was on Instagram, really well-known portrait artist from Israel. And he lived in New York City. So once he said he's doing live classes in person, I was like, I'm already following this guy on Instagram for 2 years. Like, I already admire his talent. And now he's my teacher. So the last 6 months, he's been my teacher. And even the progress I'm making every Wednesday, like going to this class and, just to see it, it was weird at first to see, like, because it's not the type of art I'm used to doing right in front of me. But,
you're challenging yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've never, and even in the classroom, the one that has the easel that has the hardest lighting, the most difficult lighting, that's where I want to go. I want to go with where someone's going to struggle and not be okay with it. Yeah, I want to get out of my comfort zone and kind of, I do that constantly. I just challenge myself to make things harder so I learn a bigger lesson in the long run.
Yeah, when you do something harder, the next time you do it, it's easier.
It's hard,
yeah. And then to do something else that's harder, your approach is not, oh no, that you've already done something hard. Absolutely. So you come at more on like a lion mentality instead of like a kitty cat mentality. Like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Exactly. Fear exists and it's real, but it's after you do some hard shit.
Exactly. I mean, look at Mike Tyson was scared every fight he went into. But it's Mike Tyson. You would never look at it because he intimidates. He scares the shit out of other people, so you would never think he's scared himself. Yeah. But I mean, he was. I mean, you don't go into that without fear, but you have to use your fear to motivate you in the same way. You can't just be, I'm scared and I'm gonna fail. And, if you do that, you're already lost. You're already. The fight didn't even start yet. You already lost.
Yep.
So if you have that mentality.
That's so real, man. That's so real. And you got some cool stuff. I know something really cool is happening in Times Square. Maybe you could talk about that.
That's 2 weeks from tomorrow, on 43rd and 7th on 3 Times Square. I'm going to have 17 images lining up that building. It's going to be on a rotation with other artists, but when mine comes on, it's going to be just me. And it's through Artist Talk magazine. It's going to be rotated like every 3 minutes, I believe, for the entire day. So I have a photographer coming, a videographer coming, and just
celebrate.
I'm just gonna get those pictures in and do some outfit changes, and it's gonna be great. So I mean, I'm and that's one of the things I remember 3-4 years ago walking in Times Square and saying one day my stuff is gonna be up here, and not realizing what's gonna happen in this way or in this magnitude, but it never was a doubt that that's gonna happen. Like it was just, how do I do it? Like it's just, you had to find out the how, but the purpose was that. Like it was always kind of like, I'm from New York, one day my stuff's gonna be up here, so it was just bound to happen. And in 2 weeks, it's probably one of the most exciting things that happened so far. But
that's amazing. Can't wait. That's so cool, man. You got so many cool things happening. I'm so happy for you, and just chopping it up about your process, chopping it up about, your aim for excellence and your constant chase to challenge yourself. It's so motivating.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So for, someone out here, they're trying to make their dream a reality, right? There's everyone, the package of their dream could be so different, right. But they want to make a dream a reality. what would you say to them?
I would say just, have the vision first, which if you have that dream, most likely you already do. And then just be consistent. Don't give up. Like when you fail, you just readjust and do it again. And I think that's when people fail that first time, that second time, that third time, they don't know they don't readjust. They keep doing the same mistake. It's like, the way I tell my kids, like, you're not going to get in trouble for that the first time. But when you do it again, now I told you so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to say it this time. So it's just like that. I mean, it's just the way you have to treat your dream. Just don't give up. Don't, all this stuff I was doing, I didn't stop when I resigned from my job. A lot of people were like, "Oh, you could be right back. We'll see you in 2 weeks."
Yeah.
And like, okay, like 5 years later, I'm not back yet. So.
I love it.
And I think that's it. Just don't give up. Just see it through and go hard at it.
Just going for it and just sticking to it, and I love how you said, if I'm an artist, I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna own this. Exactly. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna make this, part of my day. And I have other things going on that I want to do great at. Family, education, all this. But if I'm claiming that this is my thing, let's make this my thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, probably like I've been doing it for 5 years seriously, but it wasn't until like 3 years ago I really like, all right, now my title is an artist. Like I can comfortably say to people I'm an artist. And what do you do? I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I also get my PhD, but I'm an artist. I struggle with that, because I'm like, they're gonna look at my stuff and see I paint things out, and it's stuff now that seems silly to think about, but at the time it was, you're in your own head in the beginning, and once you get out of that, it almost feels like a certain freedom that you just can kind of really, this is the real you now. This is me coming out now.
So how did you get out of your head?
Probably that coach. That coach was a huge influence on
surrounding yourself.
But even that, like, she was one of she was an author, so I read her book, and then let me start following her on Instagram. Then I reached out to her through DM, and then found out she had a coaching program, and then I already admired her as a art curator, as an author. So I'm like, let me have her as a coach now. And it was a 6-month program. Very, it wasn't cheap, but I'm investing in myself. Like it's not. Yeah. This isn't a waste of money. This is like I'm putting it right back into myself. And even it was a small group. We met every week. And I mean, these are people from all over the world. I mean, I think I was probably one of 5 people from the United States, because she's from London. But just made great connections. She got me connections in London. And, I think that's where stuff internationally started happening, because, I started working with her and, kind of skyrocketed from there. But, I mean, she broke me out of that mindset where just kind of go for it. Just like you do know what you're doing. Like it's okay to say, you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. Like if somebody comes up to you with, people ask me what colors you use. I don't look at my color. I do whatever the hell comes to mind. I don't paint like traditional artists.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I'm talking to some people, they appreciate that, because I'm not like, they see themselves in me, like they can do it, put the work in and you can do it too. I mean, I had that extra influence and that inspiration my whole life, but I mean, we like you said before, I think we all have some art inside of us, and it's just knowing how to channel it and focusing on what type of art you want to make and how you want to create it and who you want, like what message you want to send. And once you figure all that out, just, the rest is natural.
Yeah, you reminded me of a conversation I had with one of my homies the other day, and we were just talking, and she was like, wow, it's all making more sense now that I'm asking the right questions.
Right.
She's like, I didn't even know what questions to ask until we started talking about this. Right. And now, because then it's like, you got to even find what questions to even ask. Right. So what do you want, right? Where are you trying to go? And like, I love that. And then you went to the masters of people you looked up to and was like, I want to learn from you. Yeah. And even if they weren't even available one-on-one or like on a mentorship program, you got the books and you soaked it up. You know what I mean? I love your chase and your like, pursuit of. I don't
want anyone to teach me how to paint, because then I'll lose that, my unorthodox way of doing things. You know, but that's why like drawing in that portrait class is kind of like that's something that's a different medium. It's drawing. That's not painting. That's not, you know, a lot of people in that class graduated to painting, but I still want to stick with drawing. Like I want to master this before I move on to what I do all the time. So, you know, that's just the mindset I have. Like I'm just going to go at it, you know.
That's real.
100%. And just sit.
Yo, man, you always got my support, bro. I can't wait to see, you know, a year from now what happens next.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe just let everyone know one more time where to get you or on social. And
you can follow me on Instagram at erickmotaart.com. That's ERICKMOTA art. Also the same name on Twitter. OpenSea, you could just search my name, and then my website. It has the links to all my socials as well. It's erickmotaart.com. That's it.
Yo, man, I just keep doing your thing, bro. I love seeing the growth and then now hearing the story and knowing some of your processes and how you break things down. So thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.